good, everybody? Welcome to your Wednesday weekday wagers. My name is Mark Wallace. I am so glad that you are here and able to join us, because if you are not watching us live, you're already behind. Make sure you tune in every day right here on Coaching Company's YouTube channel, 2 o'clock Eastern time. You catch me, Robbie, DG, bringing you all of our best bets and making sure you stay ahead of that betting curve. And speaking of betting curves, the chat is already popping with a ton of picks from our guy Taj. Can't wait to get those and break those down with Robbie. But before we move into today's picks, let's take a look and see what happened yesterday. All right. Not a horrible day. All right. Usually Robbie and I are good for double green. Keshel. Damn. Kesha. $, whatever it is, did us dirty. The Golden State Valkyries, I will tell you, 18 points in that first quarter. We just snuck over that line. That was a sweat, and that came right at the end of the quarter. So, God, love that when that happens and you just beat it. But speaking of straight money, Robbie, how you doing, buddy? Happy Wednesday.
Hey, happy Wednesday. Doing good. I watched that Boston game and early looked every bit what they talked about him. He struck out 11 batters. He was killing them. Kurtz at least got his hit. And then Luke Keishel and the damn Twins got blew out by the Angels. It was like 12-0. Keishel gets on base by an error. It is what it is. I said I didn't like that play. I didn't think it was going to be Kurtz that screwed us. It was Keishel.
Yeah, Keishel was yelling timber, kind of like Kesha.
Yeah.
We've got a ton of bets. Taj machine gunned us, which is great. I'm going to go through these real quick with you just to kind of get some initial impressions, what you feel. Yuri Perez down in Miami, over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 100 over at MGM. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not the pitcher guy. I don't usually bet pitcher props. I'm kind of like how Joe tells my picks. Whenever I bet pitchers, they usually lose. So I stay away from pitcher props. He's not, it's playing Jake Irvin against Jake Irvin. It's hard to tell. You can't tell if Washington's going to try to play or if Washington's going to shut it down. They're so inconsistent lately. So yeah, I can't give you a right good answer on that one, Taj. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this. Yuri Perez, I know who they're playing. Who are they playing?
The Washington.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Oh, my goodness. Yuri Perez hit the lines at 5.5. Last 10, he's hit this in 44 of the games. No current streak going. He's had 39 plate appearances against the Nationals. He's got a 15.4% strikeout rate against them. So you're really asking him to go deeper in the game than usual, which might explain why it's at even money. Right. Not going to get to his football pick. He's also on the Mets Phillies over 7.5. I like that. I think that we see a lot of runs in that one. Rangers on the money line. Taj, you're making me do some work here. Rangers are playing who?
Trying to scroll. Okay, nope.
Milwaukee.
There you go. Milwaukee.
Freddie Peralta. I'm not sure I can go with that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's also that's the early game. That's that's starting here shortly within the hour. So I think, well, let me tell you what the model has on this one, Tosh. The model actually has Milwaukee by a very small run differential. So yeah, it would be a Ranger, as Joe just pointed out in the chat, it would be a Rangers sweep if they did win. I just think the Rangers are going to be a tough team. They've been a tough team to sweep all season long. I just think this might be one of those tough spots for them to do it. And I certainly wouldn't bet on them on the run line. I think they got an explosive lineup. Speaking of explosives, it's Wednesday. And that means that we are already, yes, we know we got WNBA going on. We got MLB going on tonight. More importantly, we got some football coming up this weekend. And last week we broke out a new segment, obviously, called Hard Target. where you identify the 4-player props that you really like for that week. How did you do last week, Rob?
Went 3 out of the 4. Devontae Smith was the only one who did not cash, but he did not see a lot of targets in that game. Everybody else did their thing.
I like it. I like it. I can't wait to find out who you're on this week. Speaking of hard target, there it is right there. Look at that graphic. Love it. Break it down for us. You've got JSN.
Yeah.
That's obviously a long name.
It is. It's hard to fit it in the graphic, but people know who I'm talking about. Yeah, we're going with Jackson Smith and Jigba over 62-plus receiving yards. He's cashed this in 8 of his last 10 games, averaging around 87 receiving yards in those 10 games. He saw 13 targets last week, and he has little competition in Seattle. I know Cooper Kupp's there, but he's not the Cooper Kupp of old days. You could tell he's taking a step back. He's clearly Sam Darnold's favorite target. Pittsburgh's allowed the wide receiver 1 to cash this in 8 of their last 10 games. The wide receiver 1 is actually averaging 77.8 receiving yards, and they just allowed Garrett Wilson, who I'll talk about later, to get 95 on him last week. If you're into touchdown props as well, Pittsburgh gets allowed a touchdown to the wide receiver 1 in 8 of their last 10 matchup as well. I know it's going to be a big DK Metcalf revenge game. I know everybody's going to be talking about him, but I think Jackson Smith and Jigba is the guy who's going to smash in that game.
So question for you, with it being a revenge spot for DK, is that almost a great spot, especially since everybody, you know what I mean? I can already feel where everyone's going to be like, oh, he's going to have a huge game, and he very well might, but is this one of those spots where you really look to the secondary receivers and say, okay, DK might be getting covered. We need to have other options.
Yeah, the problem is Calvin Austin is the second receiver, and he's not somebody I want to trust my money with. I think he had a decent game last week, but there's nobody else there that I really want to put my faith in. Aaron Rodgers does like his tight ends. Pat Freiermuth may be a guy. Jonnu Smith is there, but of course Arthur Smith is an idiot, and we'll probably just use him as a running back. So you got to be careful when you're doing that. And I like JSN. I think JSN was the number 1 back last year, even with Geno Smith. It's carried over to this year with Sam Darnold. And it could be one of those type of shootout games. If DK is going to have a good revenge game and he goes off, Seattle's going to have to match that as well. So right. I think it could be a pretty decent game overall.
So I know just based off of what you just said, you're saying that you like the tight end to line up in the fullback position? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. If Arthur Smith's calling the plays, I fully expect him to line up in the fullback position.
Got it. I love it. You mentioned Wilson. He's on the list. What do we like about him for this week?
He is, man, and I can't believe his line was as low as it was after you saw the connection with him and Justin Fields last week. So we're getting Garrett Wilson at 60-plus receiving yards at -115. Look, he averaged 62.6 receiving yards in his last 10. That was with Aaron Rodgers and a completely different coaching staff. So for him to do that is actually pretty remarkable. He's reunited. I've got in my notes, reunited, and it feels so good. Like the song with Justin Fields. They were teammates at Ohio State, and they were dangerous at Ohio State. They looked dangerous last week. Also, the competition for Garrett Wilson is Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson. Nobody else is getting targets in that offense. It's going to be Garrett Wilson. Wilson had 9 targets, 7 receptions for 143 yards and a touchdown last week. And this week he's going against Buffalo. Sorry. Zay Flowers went 7 for 143 and a touchdown against Buffalo. So that's who he's going up against this week. If you can let Zay Flowers put up almost $150 on you, I think we can easily get Garrett Wilson over 60+ in this matchup.
I like that look. I like it a lot, especially since I see the game script for that Buffalo Jets game being the Jets having to throw to keep up and start putting some points on the board with this, with the Buffalo Bills. I love that look. Real quick, who sang Reunited?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I don't. I know the song. I used to come on. I worked at the UPS store in college, and it was like a local radio station. I probably heard that song at least once a day. Every day.
The band's name was Peaches and Herb.
I wouldn't have. I never would have got that.
Yeah, true story. Strange fact that I would know that. And speaking of strange, you have Strange on there. What do you like?
I do. We're going with Brenton Strange over 32+ receiving yards at -118. Look, this isn't just about Brenton. This is about the Cincinnati Bengals. DG sent me over a nice chart of what teams allow against tight ends. Last season, The Bengals allowed 145 targets, 111 receptions, 145 targets, 111 receptions, and 1,114 receiving yards to the tight end, giving up 10 touchdowns to that position. Last week, they faced Cleveland. They went up against David Njoku and Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin is a rookie, making his first start, and he went over his line by almost 100. He had 63 receiving yards. David Njoku had 37, so they gave up 100 yards to the tight end last week. Brenton is the number one guy in Jacksonville now. Last year they had Evan Ingram, so they had to split a lot of reps.
Right.
He also has Brian Thomas. He also has Travis Hunter. I think that only helps Brenton because the focus we're going to be on those two. He's the clear number one with those other guys being threats. I think he easily eclipses 32-plus receiving yards in this matchup.
I like it. And point of clarification, I don't mean to interrupt this hard target, but Joe, for some reason, thought I made that up. And apparently he found Google and realized that, no, I did not. So thank you. I will take my flowers, Joe. I appreciate that. Kimberly said,
yep.
And Kimberly, shake your groove thing, I don't think is anything that I will be allowed to do on any of Coach's shows or network. Certainly, I know it would make Robbie feel very uncomfortable if that's something that I did or sang, because I know the song that you're referring to. Or yeah, but I do like that song. How do you not like
in my head
song?
Right now?
Right? Yeah. How do you not like that song? Shake your. Okay. Anyway, and speaking about shaking that groove thing, you got a little booty on the board. What do we got?
I do. People in Louisiana may call it booty. I call him booty because Kayshon Boutte over 35 receiving yards is an absolute crazy line. Stephon who is my question in New England because it wasn't Stephon Diggs last week. It was all Kayshon Boutte. If you're unfamiliar with Kayshon, he played on the LSU team with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. He went off for 14 receptions, 308 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns in one game, and that's with those two on the same field. He broke the LSU and SEC single-game reception yards record. The only thing that prevented him from going in the first round was that he had a terrible ankle injury, gotten a little off-the-field issues, and then he absolutely no-showed the combine. Patriots didn't care. They invested in him. They took him in the 2023 draft, and now they're finally seeing the benefits of that. He's gone over 100-plus receiving yards in his last 2 games and 35-plus in 4 of his last 6, dating back to last season. I know Stephon Diggs is there. He actually got more targets than Stephon Diggs last week. He's listed on the depth chart as wide receiver 2 for now. Now he gets a subpar Miami Dolphins team. Subpar is being nice to the Dolphins.
It's being very polite.
Yeah, exactly. They have allowed the wide receiver 2 to average 56.1 receiving yards in their last 10 games. Miami just allowed Danny Dimes to throw 272 yards on him last week. 3 different receivers crushed this 35-plus receiving yards. I would take advantage of all the booty right now because this line is going to keep going up, and I wouldn't be surprised next week if it's already over 50-plus.
So remind everybody again, what's the line at right now that we're locking this in?
I got this at BetMGM last night for 35-plus receiving yards. That was at minus 118. I mean, you're getting tight end receiving yard numbers from a guy who just put up 100 last week. It's crazy.
And you bring up a great point as far as tight ends. Looking at week 1's numbers, it was very interesting to see the tight end usage and how much it has gone up over just from last season to this year in week 1. You're seeing a lot more tight end usage, a lot more tight end receptions, yardage, everything's up. Do you expect that to kind of be a trend, or are we going to ride that for right now and it'll probably shift later?
Tight ends are definitely peaks and valleys, especially throughout the year. I think week 1, some teams may be a little more conservative, so the tight end is a safety blanket, especially depending on who their quarterbacks are. You saw guys like Tyler Warren, the rookie in Indianapolis, go off. I just mentioned Harold Fannin, who, if you haven't started adding him on your fantasy roster, you might want to. He outsnapped David Njoku. Brock Bowers. I think the position itself is getting better as well because you've got more dynamic guys who are big body but can run like wide receivers. Gotcha. So, and like I was mentioned, if you're into fantasy football, trying to target rookie tight ends are probably one of the safest things you can do if you can't get those top guys like a Trey McBride or Brock Bowers.
Okay. Well, look at you dropping a little fantasy football advice. I love it. I love it. That's going to do it for our hard target portion of this. And I can't wait to see how this does. I know we have bets. There's no football tonight. I get that. There is still baseball. We do have some WNBA being played. A significant game. I'll get to that in a second. But what are you on tonight and why, Rob?
Yeah, I'm going back to Old Faithful. And I've already put it on the site that if there's a play on the site with him and another gentleman that if it cashes, a Colson Montgomery jersey will be in the mail tomorrow. But I'm going Colson Montgomery, 2+ hits, runs, and RBIs. That's at plus 115. He's gone over this prop in 8 of his last 10 games against right-handed pitchers. The only worry I have is that he might get scratched because for whatever reason, the White Sox don't play their best player. He'll have to face right-handed pitcher Griffin Jacks of Tampa Bay. He's pitched 28 innings against left-handed batters, and he's allowed a 3.8 OBA, a 483 slug, and has allowed 4 home runs to those batters. His biggest weak spot is the 3rd and 4th spot. Colson batted the 4th spot last night, so hopefully he bats there again. Look, Colson has 5 home runs in his last 10 games against right-handed pitchers as well. I see this as a smash spot. I absolutely love this play. I didn't love yesterday's as much. This is a play I absolutely love tonight.
All right. Well, listen, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. Whenever you hear Robbie say this is a play that I love, that is a mega mortgage whale max, a 5,000 unit lottery play. Listen, those are key words. Whenever Robbie says I love something, those things hit, and they hit with such damn a high rate. I can't believe it. So do with that little nugget of information what you will. Well, let me ask you this, because you bring up a great point about Chicago White Sox. As the season starts winding down, are you still targeting guys? Because like the Chicago White Sox just got eliminated officially. Not that we didn't already know that they were going to be eliminated, but they just officially got eliminated from postseason play. Do you start to shift your focus away from teams that really have nothing left to play for because they're going to maybe, sit their starters, sit guys like Colson in lieu of some younger talent so they can evaluate?
It depends. Colson himself's a young player, so he's not, he's a very young guy. Like Nick Kurtz last night. He's in the AL Rookie of the Year. So if you got guys like him, Jacob Wilson, another one from the Athletics, even though they're out, there's still guys who have something to play for. But yes, I will shift, and I'll peel back the curtain even more. I put Shohei Ohtani's 3+ hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 105 as a site play. I know you're thinking, really, Rob, Shohei? Yeah, because he's going against Kyle Freeland. And if you didn't know, Kyle Freeland is Shohei Ohtani's son because he's gone 6 for 8 with 2 home runs against him. So I'm going with guys like Ohtani on a good Dodgers team. It also makes me feel better that Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman both hit a home run last night. So tonight is Shohei's night. Bobblehead night, all the metrics point to Shohei going off tonight.
So the narrative is that it's Shohei O'Daddy when Kyle Freeland talks to him? Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, listen, I am going with the Hey Ladies. We're going to go with the WNBA. There's only one game being played tonight. It's Atlanta and Connecticut. And I am taking the total to go over 157.5 at minus 110. This is pretty simple. It's Atlanta's last game of the season. A win against Connecticut will push them into the number 2 spot for the postseason, given a Las Vegas loss tomorrow night. The key here is Atlanta has to win. If they win, that number 2 spot will face the Golden State Valkyries, my sweetheart of a darling team all this regular season, but they're going to face the Golden State Valkyries. If they stay in the 3rd position, they're going to get Indiana. Indiana in the first round, they have not fared as well against Indiana during the regular season as much as they have against Golden State. So the motivation to get that number 2 spot is there. I expect to see the starters get extended time, especially here for a last game of the season against a team that is already out of the playoffs. Not only is Connecticut Sun out of the playoffs, this is their last home game at Mohegan Sun. Next year, they are playing in Boston. They are going to send the fans off with a big offensive showing, as far as I see it. They're going to be playing loose. This is the farewell swan song for the Connecticut Sun. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. The last 5 games at Mohegan, totals have been 192, 164, 171, a 157. So they missed it just by the hook. And 2 days ago, these two teams played each other in Connecticut. They put up 169. Look for them to clear the 157. I love this spot for them. The model has this projected out to, I believe, 160. So I will take that additional 3 points of cushion. And they said, did somebody say Mohegan Sun? Yes. Yeah, apparently we all have tickets there.
Yeah.
So
waiting at will call.
Waiting at will call. And if they're not there, just give our good friend Sloopy a call. He'll hook you up.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. I know we talked about it. And I know that you're probably as excited as I am about the Golden State Valkyries making the playoffs, because that was one of my future tickets this year in the WNBA, was for the Valkyries in their inaugural season to make the playoffs, and they did. Any thoughts on the WNBA tonight or the playoffs coming up this weekend?
I do like your narrative for them sending the fans home happy. I think you're right, spot on with that. Most teams, that's usually their goal last game of the year. Got to do it. And I think any team that's going up against the Valkyries are in for a rude awakening, because the Valkyries are going to win the whole damn thing.
Look, wow. That's a confidence level that even exceeds mine, which is impressive. I like it. Well, you mentioned Mr. Shohei.
Yeah.
And it is that time that we get to our daily dinger. And Nonsense McGee just reminded me. Yeah, Nonsense McGee says model is 160 on the nose for that game. So I was thinking that's right. There was a 3-point cushion in that. The daily dinger. We got Mr. Shohei O'Daddy at plus 185. Aaron Judge at plus 243. Giancarlo Stanton at plus 280. Your guy Colson Montgomery at plus 425. And Salvador Perez at plus 435. Who do you like off this list and why?
I'm giving you 2 tonight, and you can parlay both of them because they're both going yard. Give me Colson Montgomery and Shohei Ohtani at plus 1,422 to go yard for all the reasons I just laid out. Shohei, that leg's already cashed. You don't even know it yet. Colson's going against Griffin Jacks, who nobody's ever heard of, and he gives up home runs to left-handed batters like people give out ice cream to little kids. It's over. Plus 1,422. I'm taking both of them. They're both my daily dingers.
Wow. First of all, damn you, because this is 2 days in a row that you've taken my Shohei. That's twice. Who do I like? You know what? Aaron Judge, that almost seems too obvious. Salvador Perez, I know, has 2 home runs off a pitcher he's facing. Give me Giancarlo Stanton, a very good Irish name. At plus 280, right? Listen, 3 of the 4 times he has faced, who's he facing? Help me.
Yes.
Flattery.
Jack
Flattery. Speaking of Irish names, Jack Flattery. 3 of the 4 times he's faced him, he's gone yard. I love this spot for Stanton. He's often overlooked because Judge gets so much attention, and rightfully so. I'm not trying to dismiss what Judge has done, but Stanton is one of those guys that quietly just puts up hits. He puts up home runs. He cashes tickets. Any thoughts on Giancarlo?
Yeah, he's 1 for 4 against Flattery. He has a home run against him. Flattery loves to throw the four-seam fastball. That's what Stanton hits the most. Of course, most batters do. I like it. I actually really like it. You should see, even if he sees the slider tonight, which is one of his top 3 pitches, he has 5 home runs off the slider. So I don't hate Giancarlo Stanton.
Listen, first of all, I appreciate the what's the word I'm looking for? The vote of approval, the nod of approval, if you will. But when the King 8 Ball says yes to Giancarlo, I might add that to your parlay.
Do it.
And just see, what's going to happen. Joe says he thinks I've been drinking some of that Irish whiskey. No, not yet, Joe. Not yet. That's not to say it won't happen, but not yet. Let's see. What else do we have? Kimberly White.
Austin Hayes. Let's see. Never bet the Reds. I think it's just because Ellie De La Cruz has screwed me so many times. I can't ever trust the Reds. Trying to find their matchup and having trouble with it.
The Reds are playing San Diego. In San Diego.
Going against Nick Pivetta.
Yep.
See if Austin has any statistical. He's 0 for 18 versus Nick Pivetta. So do with that with what you will.
So he's due.
That's he's definitely due. Yeah.
Who is the guy that DG always played for the Cubs who was like
Nico Horner?
He's the Nico Horner of the Reds. I love it. Taj has jazz hands to hit a home run at plus 425. Any thoughts on that? Going
God
against
bless you.
Jack Flattery.
I never can put money on Jazz after that home run derby. That's just done it in for me. He does have a home run on Flattery. So,
and you know what? I was just going to say the last time we had this conversation about Jazz, we were like, we're out. He went yard. So
didn't he go yard twice?
Yeah, twice in that game.
Yeah. So that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
That's a great pick. Jazz, if you're watching the show, let's go, buddy. We're all over it.
Yep. Love you.
Love you. Anything, Rob, anything that you're looking for as far as tonight is, especially, well, let me ask you this. As far as a look ahead into tomorrow night's Thursday night football, we've got college on Friday. Any game between those 2 days in the football world that have your attention?
Yeah, you got the game tomorrow night, which usually Wednesdays when I really start trying to cap that one. Tuesday night, I try to get the best lines for the weekend, and I'll try to start capping that one tomorrow night. I think that game's going to be good. I would go Green Bay in that game. I think Green Bay gets it done. But there's some player props I'm going to start looking at tonight. For this weekend, there's a college football game, Oklahoma and Tennessee, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit more on Friday, but I'm going to really start diving into that one. Not Oklahoma, Tennessee, Georgia,
Tennessee. Yep.
Yep. Had Oklahoma from last week. So that's one that I'm going to actually start looking at. Florida plays LSU this weekend, and I know everybody has counted Florida out, but this is the dumb type of game where they'll go down there and at least be competitive. I'm not saying they'll win, but don't be shocked if they at least cover, because that's just what Florida does. But I will be watching that game as well.
Okay. We mentioned Nico Horner.
I hope so. I hope that. If he does, let him in the saloon.
You know what? I was just going to say the same thing. This guy is so due that if he hits a home run, and I'm talking about DG, by the way, he is so due to get into the saloon that if Nico hits the home run, I'll let that slide. Yeah, I got that. What else do we got? Oh, Kevin says my daily, it's got to be dinger, right? My daily dinger is Coach at plus 950. Oh, so he's referring to the morning show where Coach was talking about the home run derby he hit in softball, which does that really count? No, it
when
doesn't
he was
count.
Like 10 against 7 and 8 year olds, I guess.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? All I know is that Tommy C was pitching to him. So what does that tell you? And I know Kevin, big shout out to Kevin Walls, who is not just a huge supporter of Weekday Wagers and Coaching Company, but he's also a member of JustStatSports.com. He's out on the golf course right now listening to our show. That's how much he loves our show. So huge shout out to Kevin. Hope you are hitting them straight and long, my friend. Yes, as Joe says, Coach was all state and everything, in case you didn't know.
You know he didn't pitch. If he was a pitcher, I would hate to have seen his games, because the first pitch he threw out was.
Yeah, that was something that came up this morning as well. Is what hasn't he done? I'm like, well, he's never pitched, because we all saw that first pitch that landed about 25 feet short of home plate. Although for cricket, that would have been a fantastic pitch. It would have definitely. But anyway, I digress. Look, that's going to do it for us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love doing this. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, Thursday. Going to have DG sitting here in this chair, Robbie with him, breaking down everything you need to know about the Commanders and Packers and starting to get that look ahead for some college football on Friday. Action-packed, information-packed, lots of fun, lots of laughs. I'll be gearing up for a gig tomorrow night. Can't wait for that. So, with that, listen, enjoy the rest of your day. Be kind to one another, please. It makes the world go round. A little kindness everywhere. Good luck. Let's cash these tickets, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.